I bet these guys, young girl jumps out of it, right? Young girl, I think, jumps out of big record, gloves on, like, let's do this. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the trip out through the snow. So we'll try to keep this meeting as short as we can until we get home. Let's begin with the pledge of the flag, please. I'm sorry, I should have called the meeting to order at 7:35 on January 21st. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the chance to gather here this evening. We just ask that you keep us safe as we travel home, and we ask that you keep the residents of the township safe and also all of our employees out there in the snow. Allow us to make decisions that better this community and the place where we live. It's in your name. Amen. All right, approval of Monday agenda. Do we have any agenda additions?
I don't.
Question, I don't see it on the agenda here. Were we going to discuss suggestions on that, the art money or those things like that came?
From the,
From that, the email that went out.
Greg Beck, attorney?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Is that on here?
It is on, no, it is not on there because I didn't know where we're gonna put it at.
Okay. I just didn't want to.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll see down there, it talks about, where you need to do a resolution pertaining to that. So that if you go down to where new business is.
Yeah,
so
under B.
That
That's
is
the only-
pertaining to that document.
Okay.
All right, I'm good then.
Great. All right. Approval of trustee meeting minutes for Monday, 1/10.
Trustee Pure moves to accept them as presented.
Trustee Griffith, seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approval. Bear with me. Oh, sorry, I won't do that on you here. Approval of a 1/24/22 treasurer's report.
Trustee Griffith motions to approve the treasurer's report as of 1/24.
Trustee Pure, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next on the agenda is the approval to amend temporary appropriations. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, trustees, when I did the temporary appropriations on December 27th, I had them at $1,104,050. I did not put on the American Rescue money at that time, thinking that we haven't made a decision on it and I would do it at permanent. The problem was I needed that to be approved under temporary to be able to do the premium pay for a fire that we did approve going into the year. So what that adjustment is from the $1,104,50 to $1,521,062 was the total balance we had left from 21, which was 208,600 and some dollars, along with the money we should be receiving in the next week, the other half of that. So that's what that jump is. When I called the auditor and told them what I did, they said, just amend it, have your resolutions amended, and that's what that was about.
And you're allowed to temporarily appropriate money that's not here yet, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Because we know it's going to come.
Because you know it's coming.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, matter of fact, I knew that back then, but I knew we didn't have a.
In the rescue, I mean, obviously, a lot of this is
Yeah.
money to come, but.
Yeah.
more-
And the reason I put it at that fast is I prepared the resolution number so I can match up with what I prepared for the auditor.
Okay.
Trustee Pure moves to amend temporary appropriations from $1,104,050 to $1,521,062.74.
Trustee Berry, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that resolution is 22-81. Just so you have that.
All right, public speaks. As I do not see any, we'll move along to the fire report.
Hey, good evening. Fire report, we have 12 calls since the last meeting, 6 ALS, 1 BLS, 4 fire. Mutual aid, 2 from Louisville Fire for EMS calls, and 1 for EMS call, 1 for the fire, and then multiple agencies on the fire.
2 from Louisville.
Yes.
That's way better.
Yes.
Okay, good. It was, we were at the double digit
Right.
meetings. All right, good. That's better.
We need to order 1 set of turnout gear to include gloves, hoods, 1 complete set,
Okay.
along with gloves and hoods.
Have we been, that complete set obviously is, handling some of the new folks. Have we
That's
been
right.
able to get some of the, I know we've had some new employees recent. Have we been able to use some of the gear we have to
Yes,
fit?
we've been able to,
Okay.
to use some gear that we have, and we borrowed some gear from Canton Township
Okay,
for some employees too.
okay.
Assistant Chief Ruskin, did we, this gear you're requesting, and I know you may not have been here back in the fall of last year, they requested 4 sets. Is this in addition to those
Yes, sir.
4 sets? Okay,
Yes,
that's important for me to know.
Do we have an estimate on that?
we do not, she has not got back to Amy.
I know one set prior was almost with boot, the whole
Whole
gear
thing.
was like $4,700.
Yeah,
And we expect a slight increase in that number. The rep did tell Chief Parker that the prices did go up a little bit the first of the year. So we do anticipate a slight increase in that price.
so the borrowed gear from did you say Canton Township, Canton City?
Canton Township,
Okay, that borrowed gear is gear that was sitting around that they were not using.
that is correct.
Okay, so what's the typical story on borrowed gear? Do we kind of use it until they need it back, or is it one of those things that?
Pretty much we borrow it until we
Okay.
can either appropriate brand new gear and then we'll return it, or they need it back.
Okay.
Now, some of the gear that we borrowed from them is approaching expiration,
I understand,
so
sure.
chances are that
Yeah, they're not giving you their new stuff, I understand.
right. So after it reaches its expiration,
Okay.
Not one.
whether we return it to them or they tell us to dispose of it,
Right.
or donate it to the college.
Sure. Fiscal officer, would you like us to go up to a certain chunk?
To
You want
5,000.
5,000, okay.
Just make it up to 5,000 because then that'll give us that few $100 cushion.
To help us, okay. Trustee Varian moves to approve a full set of turnout gear for the fire department up to $5,000.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, also, we want to take 241 to Arby's, to have the dryer system, the air dryer system looked at. We think that's the problem with the problem we're having with drafting out of the front bumper line.
Okay,
And if that's the case, it'll be a less expensive
great.
fix than taking it all the way back down to
To-
Midvale
Yeah,
to have it fixed and be out of service for.
so the draft line off the front bumper is where the issue is.
Yes,
Okay.
it's not pulling the draft all the time. So
Okay,
possibly the dryer system, the air dryer system. So RB's is gonna take a look at it. If that's the case, it'll be a less expensive fix. And
okay,
we'll be back in business.
great. I noticed we had 4 fires. Did we have the tanker out on any of those fires, do you know? I just,
I don't believe the tanker was out on any
okay,
of
that's
them.
fine. I was just curious, because we just had some repairs done and just wanted to see if it was working and okay.
So,
Can I go back to the one that was the garage fire?
yes.
How many of our people showed?
On the initial fire, we had, I believe there were 3 respond.
Okay.
The 2 staffers, and then 1 came from home. And then we were called back out later that evening by a passerby because there was a few, basically 6x6s that were
Still smoldering.
smoldering, and the wind was blowing, so they were blowing some embers. And there was concern about the embers blowing to the neighbor's house. So
Is this on Belford?
yes,
By the Canton Farm?
1735.
Yeah.
Dawson. I believe the residence was Woost.
Right on the first saddle,
Yep,
coming away from
So
772.
the first house, the
And it was-
attorney's house, not Candle House.
The reason why I was asking is for our ISO rating, they track, so make sure we're tracking. how many.
Dispatch called me out
Yeah.
We got dinged for that one.
Okay.
there.
Yeah, and I drove by that one after I heard about it, and it was interesting that it was a steel structure, and it was fascinating when you drive by, like it was just put out and there's no smoke, because it was, I mean, like, it wasn't a smoldering wood structure, so like there's no smoke in this, like, it looked like it burned a week ago, but it was all steel, so like,
Well,
when
they
you put it out, like,
it had a wood burner in it,
Okay.
and I talked to, when I got there, I talked to Nims, and he said it was fully engulfed, pretty much gone when they got there.
really,
Yeah.
it was not close enough to the house to do anything.
No,
to the
it's
house.
far away from the house.
Quite a
Okay.
distance from the
Yeah, quite a distance.
From either house, his
Yeah.
house or the neighbor's.
Or the neighbor's house. Okay.
That's good.
I was just, the tanker question was just because we had some repairs done recently. I just was hoping everything was working. So
So
great.
far, no problem.
Okay.
What's the 4 new badges?
Oh, I guess with some of the badges, she told me to cross that off and not to,
Worry
she'll
about
bring it up at a later date, but
it. Okay.
with some badges, there's some numbers on the badges themselves that, like unit numbers, so
Okay.
she said to go ahead and cross that off for now, and
Okay.
she'll readdress it later.
Sounds good.
That's all I have. Any questions for me?
Trustees, Assistant Chief Ruskin did bring me additional run reports that you do not have copies. I wasn't able to get those in on there. I will put them on the next
Okay.
meeting.
From prior runs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that's on the back, when you look at the back one,
Yeah.
the ones I was missing from the prior was from the 13th back to the 6th or 7th, but what Assistant Chief Ruskin had gave me, he gave me January 1st through January 23rd.
Okay.
So I'll have a complete set
Okay.
to give to you, and I'm just gonna put that on and send it in there on the next batch, so you have it. Okay?
Is everything still working as far as the information you're getting from the fire department as far as the premium pay?
Yeah.
Is all that still, as far as the
Yeah.
turning of the hours, everything's working in there?
Yes, that one thing I asked for, those, run numbers, that runs, it's very important for us to track that so
Sure.
we match up with the payroll.
Understood.
And, when I see something missing, then Sue catches it or I catch it. And then we just ask Amy, and then Amy got to Tom and brought it up here for us. Tom.
Great. All right. Wonderful. Anything else? Thanks.
I had that,
Approval for
yeah, that's back when the approval for the Pro Air Midwest maintenance and repair compressor unit. We didn't know a price, but they were there doing all that work, and they started in December. They had no idea what it would be, of a few $100 or what it is. That did get finalized because they did. Assistant Chief Ruskin, you can explain to the trustees what that actually is, that unit that fills our air tanks for you guys for your tanks.
For our SCBA?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, the SCBA fills, it's the fill station.
yes, fill station.
So basically has a compressor
Yeah.
that runs and it fills some large cylinders, like 5,000 PSI cylinders. And then we put our bottles into a cascade system and hook them up. And then we can refill our SCBA bottles
in-house.
in-house, correct.
And that's what that bill is. It's a yearly maintenance that they come in and check that all out, make sure everything's working, test it.
Yeah, the air is tested to make sure that when the compressor's running and it's filling bottles, that no carbon monoxide is being
Sure.
induced into the system. So it's got a CO monitor built in. So we're not filling bottles with carbon monoxide.
Right.
That would be bad.
That would be bad.
Is that the system that Chief Parker has talked about it being fairly old?
Yes, it is. It actually was.
It was like used when we got it.
from Louisville Fire. We
We bought it from Louisville.
township purchased it from Louisville
Okay.
Fire. When they
All right.
got it.
Trustee Varian moves to approve the payment to Pro Air Midwest of $545 for the maintenance and repair of the compressor unit that fills the air tanks.
Trustee Piro, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The other question I forgot to add, I'll add it in, is the furnace working in the main room? Is that all back in business?
It seems to be. I was
Okay.
there today and it was comfortable.
All right. So Warren, he confirmed that he was going to go out, but I never heard back from him that he fixed it. I'm sure he did, but I never heard. So if there's heat, then that's a good sign.
It is.
Okay. All right. Cemetery report.
I know Sexton Ryan Shear didn't get in touch with me on anything, and I just know I never received any funds, and we haven't had any burials since last meeting. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is probably the first time we haven't had a burial for a long time.
yeah.
That's good.
I know Sexton Shear does Robertsville, and he had one there. And so there is still going on, but not in our township right
Okay.
at the moment.
All right. Moving along. Road report.
All right, good evening, everybody. If the trustees have read over the road report, is there any questions you'd like to ask?
So what happened with Hill Church and Westfall with the logs? Did they do that?
Still there, they've never moved them.
Oh, they haven't moved them yet. Okay.
No. Yeah. Gone out and took pictures, so I had pictures of the road.
Yeah, they're full of snow.
Yeah. Yeah. When I pushed back the other day, I kind of made sure I didn't catch one of them with a plow, because that spun me around.
Yeah, let's be at it. And jar your teeth.
Oh, boy.
So I saw on the news tonight, right before I came, that we're now exceeding our normal snowfall by like 5-6 inches.
Yeah.
We're above normal now.
All those people that talk about a mild winter. Yeah, those dirty
I
mouths.
know. I know. So. Any other questions?
I do have some to add for, me and Stu had talked about the bulk oil and fuel, and Scott Powers got back to me, we talked about Powers, because they've had problems with algae with the fuel company we have, correct?
Yeah.
If we want to go with Powers, they would come out, pump out the tank, move it, put their tank in, we can do a full switch. He said they can't quite quote fuel because fuel changes all the time, but he said they would probably be cheaper than Macintosh 9 out of 10 days. So
So the tank is owned by the company, not us.
right.
All the tanks are,
Okay.
outside, inside,
Oh, all the tanks are. Okay.
and we just had the hydraulic filled.
You know, and maybe
Yes,
that's
to-
something we should think about, because we can own our own tank and then we can call whoever we want. We don't have to use the provider of the tank.
Well,
I think them tanks are pretty expensive.
we don't want those tanks anyways. We want to
No.
get rid of those tanks if we ever decide
They would
to
bring
switch
these
to
tanks
somebody
out.
else, but
How big is the
we've
tank
been
out
having
there?
a lot of algae problems,
Mhm.
and
That's a Macintosh deal.
I know.
Well, I'm just telling you,
A lot
I
of
spoke
people
to
have
Powers
walked away
about
from
this.
Macintosh because of that problem.
Okay. How big is the tank
Do
out
they
there?
add the additive?
500 gallon, I think.
Do they put the additive into their fuel? We don't
Oh,
use
yeah.
those. We
Oh, yeah,
use-
they have to. If they didn't, I mean, they'd be gelling right now.
He explained to
But as
me
far
that
as the algae part, I don't know.
in order to get rid of the algae, you would have to clean the tank.
Yes, it would have to be taken out of there.
You don't take the
Drain.
tank out, you have to clean, but you have to clean it.
Well, from what I was told by somebody that came here the other day, talking to me, said that normally you would suck whatever's in there out.
Yeah.
Unhook it and take it to where it got cleaned thoroughly to get it out, but I don't know.
So if you could replace that tank out there for the 500 gallon tank right now, what would you replace it with? Why don't you like that one?
Why don't I like it?
Yeah, you said you'd want a different style tank or just a different
No,
tank?
just want a totally different tank.
Oh, okay.
But it ain't our tank anyways. If we go to somebody else, they're gonna take it anyways
Yeah.
back.
Right.
They would
Which
come
is
out
fine.
and they would move the tank out and put their tank in.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
And
I
they,
thought some of them was making you buy your tank now too.
well, not Powers. They would do this one, they would do the fire station, they do whatever we want.
Do they do the maintenance on them, like the hoses and?
Normally they do.
Yes, oh yeah.
That's what Macintosh did. They always come out with, if we had a blown hose or pump went bad, they come out and
Got it.
swap out the pumps on them. It's something to think
I don't
about.
know who's getting that, who does,
I would hate if we ever decide here down the road here to buy new trucks and start putting that fuel through them.
who does the propane at
Because once
the
it's in
fire
your-
station for the generator?
Mm,
Because
Yeah.
Powers does
I don't know.
propane too.
AmeriGas.
Amerigas,
Propane,
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd be interested in quoting that.
you wouldn't want to get that algae going in your new tanks and stuff on your new trucks. Because I'll tell you, we just changed Brian's the other day before the injector problem. And it was just a dark black slime. It looked terrible when they took it out up there. I've seen mine too. I mean, I've been up there and had Ron change them. They look terrible. Shouldn't look like that.
So is this a,
And we've shopped
is
and
this a,
shopped.
we have an old tank problem or is this a Macintosh problem?
No,
It's
it's a-
because the tank, it's in the tank, it has to be cleaned
So
out.
can we call Macintosh and say, we'll keep your service provider if you give us a new tank?
But it's in the fuel. It's the fuel.
So it is in the fuel, it's not in the tank.
It's in the fuel. That's how that algae gets in there.
It does. They have, if they're adding the right amount of additive, you don't get it.
I don't know.
Because all.
I know a lot of people have walked away from them because they just kept having problems.
But for burning injectors up, you
It
can
ain't good
blame,
on any
you
of
can blame
that.
that on fuel.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, that algae is terrible on an engine, injectors, everything.
So the question is,
Fuel
how
pump.
quick are you using that tank of fuel when we have it? Is that tank of fuel sitting there for a while? How quick are we using it? In the winter, we probably use it quicker than the summer, don't we?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it goes pretty quick when you got all the tractors out there and we're out
Does it come
there
once a month,
patching and
twice a
running
month?
because we run diesel on everything, the motors, everything.
How big is the diesel tank?
500, I think.
Okay, we just bought 300 gallons. And, but that's,
So does it come does it come monthly? Does it come every other
It
month?
comes when I call him. When we get down, I call him.
you probably fill those tanks 4 to 5 times a year.
So quarterly?
Well, I can tell you the fire station just had a delivery today.
From Macintosh.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was diesel or gasoline, but there was a Macintosh truck there today.
Okay. Did he give you numbers?
As far as.
Powers, switch out tank without all cost?
There's no cost.
Okay.
I'd say you call around and price it.
So he'll come, take the old tank, put the new tank
You can't
in.
get a price on fuel.
No, no,
No, but you can.
It's like
get
getting price of
price
concrete right
the-
now, they'll have-
We can get the current price on the fuel,
Right.
Yeah, right
but
now.
they're all within reason of each other.
Yeah.
Trustees, just a question. Would you all contact Macintosh first and give them an opportunity to replace everything and flush it before you make your move? Or,
That's not the problem. Fuel, the problem is in their fuel.
but once it gets in the tank, you could still get that with the other place.
Powers doesn't have the problem.
No, because they're not all pulling, not getting their fuel from the same place. Everybody's not going like up here to Marathon.
$27,000 worth a year. I don't know.
They get it from different places.
You get from a different place. to
Powers.
ours.
I think it also depends on how well they treat the fuel at their place. They have to treat it for the algae.
I'm just telling you what I know from what I've seen in our trucks.
Right.
And Ronnie's even
Powers
said
is
that it
pretty
looked
decent
terrible and we had to
outfit.
shop the heck
They're
out of
but
it.
they've got.
Yeah.
We
prices
bought stuff directly from them.
So
It's not.
we use Lycans.
We shopped the whole tank even, the big tank.
We've never had a problem, but Lycans puts the additive for
But
algae
you don't
in
want
the
to buy
fuel.
tanks. I'll tell you right now, but that tank.
Well, I'm not suggesting, what I was suggesting that
What,
if you
like-
go to the vendor you have now
Could be.
and talk to
But
them
we own our own
and you
tanks.
say, hey, I'm sorry,
We buy it
there's
from
nothing we
wherever
can do or whatever. We'll
Which
say,
is,
you can
if
tell
we
them,
bought our own
look,
tanks, we could
that's
buy
when
it.
they go ahead and
That's
make
what
it,
Donnie sure does
you
too.
know?
Yeah,
He owns his.
I just
don't mind
thought.
We own
Macintosh
we own our
has
own tanks.
I'll call them.
been- Yeah,
So
because
I actually
Macintosh,
need to look at only our own
Macintosh has
tank.
been real good about when you call, they're right here.
There's not that
And
much.
know
Now, I only have a
other
300 gallon
companies
tank of gas and diesel, so,
That's
and I don't burn through it fast enough. Well, I have gel in my
That's
skid
a
right
double
now.
wall tank. Them are
Yeah.
expensive. You're
They are
talking about
expensive.
Yeah,
$5 grand
yeah.
minimum.
Yeah, oh,
One
compared to
tank.
what I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
gravity fed, mine's small. Yeah, you're right.
And then you'll be responsible for the maintenance.
I know. That's the only thing I think I wouldn't like.
Well, why don't
Something
we-
goes wrong, you just call them and they're right out there usually, change the hose, change
well,
the
do you guys,
nozzle,
do you guys want to look,
I'll call them.
change the pump.
do you guys want to handle it right now, or do you want to look into it and handle it next
I
week?
think they need to call a couple places.
Yeah,
and get
let's
some-
call it. We don't want to jump on this. Yeah. We
I
just
think
don't
you
wanna-
got
prices.
a plate full in the road department with salt sheds and snow stuff. You don't want to be
Yeah.
doing that right
But
now.
you definitely want to call.
It ain't
them
something we
and
gotta get
talk to
done
them.
right here, right this minute. I mean, we can call around, check around stuff, wait
Well,
till
and let
come
them know that
spring or
we're having a
whatever.
problem.
Huh?
Tell them we're having a problem with it. See if they want to do something.
Do you have a contact over there?
Yeah.
Will you get it? I'll get it. I'll call. Talk to them. See what they want to do.
All right. Anything else for the road report, sir?
Yeah, I'm wanting to, if we can go ahead and move forward here and hire Rudy Piro for plowing. We've been trying to get our guys hired back in here, more drivers, so we have that second crew, full crew
Okay.
with him and John and,
Give us
Parker and,
some background on Rudy. What's he have? His CEO?
yes, that is Class A.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
He can drive semi, everything.
Great.
And he's had a lot of time behind bigger trucks than ours already, so.
Does he?
He's driving tandems, big heavy tandem mower trucks and weigh twice, 3 times what these trucks weigh.
What's his availability?
Whenever I call him.
Whenever I call him. Good answer. Good answer.
Wait, it's just so you don't have to go out.
That's exactly.
But I think we have all his paperwork.
I've seen Mr. Wheeler's truck here a couple times, so he's pushing
He's out
snow.
tonight in my
Yep.
truck right now.
Yep, I know Mr.
This
Wheeler's
is
out.
his, more or
That's
less his first time out by himself.
Okay, that's been going all
He
right.
went during that storm with John Parker and John let him drive some during that storm and he did all right, so.
Okay.
I haven't had any calls except from Brian tonight, so that's good. I just ordered another 100 ton of salt today. I have another semi-load from the last order that didn't come Saturday.
Trustees, right now, we're on right around $10,000 worth of salt that we purchased in this year. And that, that's just to let you know, I know you all were looking at these applications, but I usually ask for a PO. I can make them for bills like that up to $20,000. But when we come to salt, large amount of fuel, I always ask that. You approve something. So I would suggest maybe a $20,000 because we got 10 right now. To do a straight up purchase order right now so I can keep the salt rolling for still.
All right, let's go back to Rudy for a minute. If we were to hire him, what we started wage wise? Is there a blanket start?
He would be on, we just approved those.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be
So he would be the beginner wage, whatever that was.
He's got Class A though, remember.
yeah. So whatever
There's a
that
guy
is.
that has
Yes.
Class A that can
It was
drive it.
new for us.
You got your 2 wages right
I
now.
know.
On
Yeah,
your
what-
2 guys are part-time, one $16.50 and one $16.
Oh, he could, if he has the Class A, I'd say the 1650.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All 3 of them now, John Parker, Mike Wheeler.
Yeah,
And
but
is that
John Parker's
if
at a
we're at
different level.
1650? Does that match what we
I
did
know,
with the
but
other
I'm
guys?
just saying, they're all A Class
Class
A.
A guys. Okay. All right. Trustee Varian moves to approve the hiring of Rudy Piro for a seasonal plow truck driver for the hourly wage of $16.50 per hour.
Trustee Griffith will second that.
All those in favor?
Should do roll call.
Would you like to roll call? I was gonna give a chance to abstain. Well, roll call vote, please.
Griffith,
Yes.
Piro,
Say,
Varian.
Yes. All right. Thank you. And then before you go on, would you like to go ahead and do that 20,000 for that
Yeah.
salt? Okay. What is that, an open invoice? What do we want to call that?
No, it's called a blanket certificate.
Blanket certificate. Trustee Varian moves to approve a blanket certificate of $20,000 to cover road salt.
Trustee Pugh, second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, Stu, go ahead, man.
The only other thing is I got a phone call from Derek. I think it's Ash, I'm not sure. He lives on Duval, back when we had the storm that Sunday night, Monday morning. That's where John Parker went off. Couldn't tell where the road was back there. And went off in this guy's yard, and Brian was able to pull him out, but it tore the yard up some along the road.
Sure.
And I told him I would let the trustees know at the meeting here tonight about it, and we'll just have to wait until things
Wait till
thaw out.
spring.
Until it thaws out and
Until spring and
Fix
see,
them up.
see what we can do to either, if we can come out and do it, or if we have to have somebody else come out and do it. I don't know how tore it might be tore up a pretty good stretch.
Is he okay with that?
Yeah, he was very nice about
Good.
everything, and I told him I would let you guys know, and I will keep this glued on the side of my
Great.
filing cabinet with
We'll have
his
to wait
name
till
and
spring.
address and everything, phone number.
That's all right.
So he was very nice about it. I told him,
All right.
we'll do something.
Do we need to improve it? Do we need to approve any money that's been spent over the last couple breakdowns? Are we okay right now?
Stu, what about the one that the 400? I don't remember what it was for.
Well, 400 was like for several different things, but some of that was the trans
Yeah.
fluid
And
for the
filter.
truck that we went and got from Federated.
And will Parker bill us for the
And
hose?
we turned around, found out we could get it cheaper from somebody else by $100 cheaper. Cutting the price cut in half. So
So,
we took that back to Federated so that,
so you'll have receipts for us next meeting then?
and there, all the receipts are already there.
All right, cool.
I mean, out there, I have them all wrote down. We're gonna have a pretty good, little chunk here that we got today from that oil, hydraulic oil, motor oil that they brought down bulk.
Right.
We had to have the hydraulic. I was out after all these blowouts we've had on hoses.
Does Parker bill us?
I said something to John Parker today, and
Okay.
whenever Chuck and them get around to it.
Okay.
Well, not next year.
Yeah, we hope not.
Next year. Anything else for the road?
What about this? Do we have to do anything for the highway?
Yes, you do. I put that on there. This is a yearly thing that Stark County Engineers sends out. The trustees, you all, the president as the chairperson, and the two other trustees. This is verification of our 55.68 miles. Once you do a resolution, then this goes back to them and then on to the state.
Okay, thank you.
So you need to do a
So
resolution.
date for today.
Yeah. you can
That
do
date is
today.
different.
Trustee Piro moves to accept the Township Highway System mileage certification at 55.680 miles.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey, have you talked to Finifra?
Yes, several times today, and I told him
He
I
just
was
did a robocall. Yeah.
Well, I told him I'd call him here later on after the meeting.
Okay. I don't know if he
Greg
calls, I don't
Dent
know if he's
called-
calling school right now, but
Greg Dent
he may.
texted me too.
All right.
Cliff
Yeah, okay.
from the buses.
All right. All right. Okay. Are we okay to move on to zoning? Looks like we are.
Since the last meeting, there hasn't been any permits issued, but I'm currently working on one for the Clearview Golf Course. They want to add a conference/education center in.
Oh.
But currently, it's in a RR zone residential, or rural residential, so it doesn't allow that. But it would be grandfathered, the golf course there is grandfathered in, and it's a historical site, so I'm working with the prosecutor to see kind of what we can do with that.
Do you know what their plan for that space is? That sounds great for the community.
I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with it yet, but all I know is they're getting started on it.
Great.
Yeah, they've been fundraising for a while for it,
Mhm.
which, I forgot about it. I had received a call that Minerva is putting up a statue to honor Renee Powell because that's where they originally started. But they left Minerva and came here.
Oh, wow.
And the question was from one of our residents, and they were asking us, well, what are we going to do? And so I said, well, I don't know, I'll bring it to the township here. It is an historical site, the golf course, but something for future discussion. I think we should think about having such a renowned person in our community. We should think about maybe doing something. Not that I want to be upstaged by Minerva.
Right, understand.
So something to think about and come up. The person gave me some ideas, but I think that we need to think about it.
So
All right.
we have that coming up for that. And then I got a phone call about a person looking for information on the mobile home park on Pekin, which is actually split between Can Township and us. So Can Township called me earlier today to try and figure stuff out because apparently they didn't know that it existed in their township, according to Mike. So he's trying to figure stuff out, so I'm trying to help him with that.
It's an interesting response to somebody
How
that
many
changed.
years has that been?
Oh,
Since we were kids.
oh, forever.
On the map, it shows it was built in the 60s. So for us, it's grandfathered in.
Sure.
Right, but it was
Actually,
on there when we did the comprehensive plan, because we were dinged for not having enough of a lower income housing, and the mobile home park counts for that, and it's in our township, so we got credit for that. But
I thought it was all in Osnaburg Township
I thought it was
because of
all
where the
Osnaburg
line is
too.
beyond
I mean,
past it. But somewhere down through the trailer allotment, I found that out from Amy a long time ago when they went in there to do a call run. And she goes, no, half of that's Canton and half's Osnaburg. And I go, oh,
I think the inbound side, because it's kind of
It's
one
got a
way.
one way.
I think the inbound side is Osnaburg Township and the outbound side is Canton.
Okay.
When you get back there.
Yeah.
Well,
so if you're coming off Orchard View, is
It's
it the
Orchard
first
View
one you
side.
come to? It's the inbound or
Yeah.
the
First,
second one by all the mailboxes?
coming by Orchard View is that's the inbound.
That's the inbound and you come out
Yeah,
by the
side.
mailbox. It's right towards.
Yeah, you come out by the
Cusp,
mailbox.
okay.
You go down and around
I
the
know.
pump station down there. Yeah.
yeah, it's probably gonna be a future discussion that we need to have with Canton South, because as 30 comes through,
That's gonna be
Pekin's close off.
that's gonna be a cul-de-sac area.
Yeah, it will not go.
I mean, how do you miss that little city of lights when you get off the highway? You're like, what is that pile of lights in the woods? Oh, shoot. All right.
So got that working on the nuisance side, the property over on Broadway that had the junk vehicles, that car that was there, they moved that out. And the remaining vehicles don't meet the description of junk vehicles, so that's resolved there. I was gonna run by Indian Run, but with the weather and stuff, I haven't had a chance to yet. So I'll take a look at that probably this week.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
The grass,
Yeah,
right
bad.
now.
I do want to, we should gonna talk about this or not? The Stark County is offering the governmental law seminar, and classes are basically, a lot of it on zoning. So the last time they held it, we offered it to both our BZA and commission. We probably had 4, maybe 5 of them out of that whole group go, but there is a fee of $25 per person. So if you guys approve, I'd like Mary to be able to offer it out to both of those groups, BZA and commission, to see who wants to attend. And then you have to set a date that Brian needs it back by so we can send that reservation in for the 26th. And I'll plan on attending, and hopefully you're available to go. But send that out both the BZA and the commission. Also, we do think we might have a member of the BZA might be resigning. So, which they still have enough, you have to get a written resignation on that. They have enough members to do their operation, but we definitely need to have a few more members on both the commission and the BZA. So,
Start begging your friends.
what's that?
Start begging your friends.
So with that, do I need a motion to approval for Brian to offer the conference, the law seminar?
You don't really I mean, you have done them because you knew people for sure were going. If you're gonna blanket it in and make it open, you could go ahead and do one.
Okay, so then I'll make a motion that we allow anyone from the BZA or the commission, as well as Mary and myself, and any of you that would like to attend. It's actually very good. All of our key county people are there too. To go to the Stark County Governmental Law Seminar on Saturday, February 26th at a cost of $25 per person.
Trustee Barry, a second. All those in favor?
Trustee Griffith, is that one that we blanket on that? I didn't read it. Like, I read it when I first put it in your mailbox. Is it something I can blanket and pay for everyone or?
Yes,
is it-
yeah,
okay.
we'll just send one check. So you just need to let Mary know when you need the reservation deadline to by.
What's it say?
I don't have that.
It says Friday, the 18th.
Yeah, reservation.
That's the week before, so,
Of February?
of February, yeah. So probably if you tell people they have to have it to you maybe 4 or 5 days before that 18th. How much time do you need before that, Brian?
I mean, I can prepare anything, being you're doing a resolution. The dollar amount is what I don't know.
So give them at least a week before that.
If
They'll
it's
have
on a
couple
Friday,
weeks.
I'd like to have it like Monday by it, you know, that way I can prepare it, get it signatures and get it out of here.
Okay.
That helps. It sure does. It's just stress.
Anything else, Mary? Are you doing?
Our next upcoming meeting for the commission will be our organizational meeting. We were supposed to have it last Monday. We got canceled. So that will be February 21st. They'll have that meeting.
That's Monday.
Yes.
I think I did change that on the website when you,
Yeah, you did, I saw. And for the Board of Zoning Appeals, I got a call from Mr. Hicks. He was looking at a couple options, so he's still kind of discussing what he needs to do with it. He was going to call Soil and Water and have a talk with them before he goes forward with anything.
Still thinking storage units. Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Seeing no old business, we'll move on to new business.
I didn't add it in there, but I did just set on another RTIP, which is the Route 30 expansion meeting with Kirk Sharing and Richard Regula. And they had received a notification that they'll have the funding to do the mine mitigation. The price of that mine mitigation has dropped. It was, I believe it was at 27 million, it's dropped.
Okay.
Quite a bit. It's down to maybe 22 now, the estimated price. And I did see someone, I happened to pass it over by the fire station. It was a company that had drilled a hole down through the road there. And that's where the mine is. It's across from the old Osnaburg Street right there.
Yeah, there was a shaft there. There was a hole, the road sunk back years ago.
Yeah. So I think they were doing
That was
surveying
back around
to see how
13,
far the
14.
mine went. And then the federal just come out with some new funding to for mine mitigation. And so I think they're hoping to get some of that. But the whole process, the additional properties that need to be purchased, they announced they'll have those properties. I think there's only 6 properties left that they need. They'll all be completed before summer.
Oh, good. So some of these folks that have been sitting and waiting in their houses for someone to buy this house, they're going to eventually be purchased in the next 6 months.
You know, I don't know the details.
Okay.
So,
I know some of these folks have been waiting.
okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say that I'm not sure, I thought there would be more than 6. They said they only have 6. So there could be people who think they're going to get purchased that won't. I
Got
don't
it.
know that answer.
Got it.
If somebody has a question, they need to call ODOT and talk with them. They don't share the info with us.
All right, request for advance of property tax tip as collected.
this is a yearly thing, trustees, that I prepare, and then usually you, as a board, approve it, and then just the president signs this, and then I sign it. What it is instead of having to get our tax revenues twice a year,
Mhm.
as they receive them monthly, they send them to us, and you have to do a yearly request for that. And that's what this is. You can read it over.
We need a motion.
And then I'll put a resolution. Yes, you want to do a motion.
Okay. Trustee Varian moves to accept this request for advance of taxes collected for municipalities, school districts, and townships.
Trustee Piro, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Need resolution to adopt standard allowance permitted by final rule.
Now that would go into what Trustee Griffith, that the letter, and I did put it on your laptops regarding what Greg Beck, the attorney that we have that advises us on this. I don't know if you all had a chance to read it. It's 478 pages long, but they put a 14-page together about like what you can use these ARP funds for. But we have the capability of getting up to $10 million available to us. But part of what it is, he says that you as a board have to do in order to properly effectuate the standard allowance, a resolution authorizing the use of the ARP funds under the revenue loss category should specifically elect the standard allowance as defined by the final rule. It says we would advise any township which has adopted a resolution which addresses revenue loss based upon the prior formula to pass a new resolution which will rescind the prior resolution and adopt the standard allowance permitted on this final rule. You never really, as a board, we never did the prior one. We just approved our premium pay is all we really did. So we never really did anything yet. So all you have to do, I think, is just put a resolution. I can write one up to be a standard allowance. He does give me some vocabulary to use with that, but it's just basically you as a board want to follow ARP funds to use standard allowance, which helps me as a fiscal officer for financially, and it helps you trustees as you decide how you want to put these funds.
Gotcha. So it doesn't have to have a monetary amount. It's just a blanket motion to say we are.
We don't know what their standard formula is, how that relates to what we thought we were going to get, correct? If we went to that formula, does the amount?
I don't know that. I
Okay,
can't answer
I don't
it
know that
exactly.
either then.
I just know what we have so far, the additional money we have. You can start figuring out what you want to do based on these, revenue loss. I know that I sent a letter out to Trustee Varian that I think you all received just so you could get an idea. There's things like premium pay, bonus pay. When it comes to payroll, there's COVID relief money, there's infrastructure. You're talking fire trucks, ambulance, you're talking culverts, road repair to do with drainage issues. All these things are all part of that, but it gives you trustees more freedom and helps me not sit there and have to analyze every single thing and every single penny. It just says, if you decide as trustees you want to do this project, then we figure out how much that project is and we can make a move and go on it.
So originally, these funds came out with really a large amount of restrictions on only being able to expend them on certain things.
Yeah.
And now, because governmental entities have not been able to expense them under the rules they created, they've reduced the rules and are giving more freedom for projects.
And it sounds like it benefits smaller townships by doing this. I think your larger townships probably had a staff that could sit there and break these down and use it a certain way, and it might work, but all the smaller townships weren't taking advantage of it.
No, I think it's a good thing. I think we should do that.
Yeah.
So you need a motion for that, Brian?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt the standard allowance permitted by the Final Rural American Rescue Funding for the funds that will become available to our township.
Trustee Varian, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do we have any discussion on this write-off, or is it typical write-off?
This is from, here you can read it.
Okay.
It's Regional Service that does our collection for us,
Yep.
with their recommendation.
Okay.
Trustee Peter moves to write off $548.40 from a non-resident bill unable to collect.
Trustee, oh, sorry.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we did that. Anything else for the good of the order? Seeing none?
I'll just let you trustees know, when all the bills had come in over the weekend was my schedule. I didn't have checks prepared tonight. I am preparing them, that I will get a call to you, that if you could stop by later in the week, or
With
I
all the
can
snow?
bring to you, yeah. It was just, it was a lot of last minute things came
Stu
in.
can
the
drop
last
off when he's
2
plowing
days.
by the road.
Actually Saturday and Friday, but there's some things that I need to prepare with purchase orders before I get it to you.
I do have a couple questions, and that is, did we get a loan on that truck from Plain Township then, or not?
Alone?
Well, we were going to
Yeah,
borrow
it's sitting
it.
in
Oh,
the,
yeah.
sitting in
It's
the
not-
shop.
Sitting out in the garage right now.
Okay,
We
we,
used it last time.
we did use it. That was my question. Did we use it?
Yeah.
And then any more words on the salt bin?
No.
So we haven't.
Nothing I've heard. I don't know if anybody else heard
No.
anything.
So we're gonna wait.
With
for
this
spring
weather,
break.
I mean, yeah, nothing's happening.
No, I think he's planning on moving whenever the weather's fit and the ground
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
All right, motion to adjourn?
Trustee Grove moves to motion to pay bills.
All those in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Tori showed everything.
We do put a little Hornet sticker over the Plain Township, or but a red little EC and Sharpie marker.
That's what he was saying. He said the other kids,
Did you go my paperwork?
nag day.
This is a
It
new
only says
magnet.
Osnaburg Township.
No, it should
Put 'em on
say-
the door.
Our truck is broken down. This is a loaner. So-
Well, I wasn't sure if you actually got it.